martial artists. Well, I was going to say in America, but it's probably on planet Earth. He is known around the world as probably one of the most deadly humans. And he's here today to give us some of his wisdom and insights into the quarantine and ways that we can keep us safe. I believe if I have this right, you are an 11th degree black belt. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Master Ken.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Thank you so much. Listen, I know that you are super busy and the requests just keep pouring in for ways, because you are so deadly, that people want to know basically how they can fight back against this dreaded COVID-19, and what are some of the steps that, martial arts school owners should probably be taking so that they can stay safe during this time?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of solutions. I am very busy and important because I'm very famous.
Sure.
But I also like to take time for other people to teach them how to defend themselves. By the way, I was watching your movie last night, Dr. Dolittle. And I was thinking about, maybe coming up with a bunch of animal defenses as well. You worked with, how many of those animals were real?
One.
Just which, was it the monkey or?
Yeah, it was the monkey. The monkey was the only one. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you did a good job in that film.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
So what I was thinking of doing is, we can talk about a variety of things. One of the things that's been in the news recently has been disinfectants and their use in self-defense. I thought maybe we could go over that.
Okay.
Disinfectants can be weaponized in a very effective way. I've got my own brand here of Ameridote disinfectant. I spray this on Todd's groin.
Impressive.
And, if you're, let's say, for close quarter type of stuff, this is a fake head.
Oh, okay. You had me going there for a sec.
Yeah, you don't need to call anybody. This is just, this is rubber.
I gotcha.
So, you can use disinfectant in a variety of ways. You can just you can spray it in the face, cause the eyes to burn. You can actually use the can to strike. You can spray in the mouth. But one of the best ways to use disinfectant is at the end of the fight. Let's say that I have a sword and I've just cut this guy's head off.
Sure.
Okay. Now, back in the olden days, back in the days of French Canada, when they used to use the guillotine, they used to notice that when you cut the head off, it's still alive. I don't know if you know that.
I had no idea.
Yeah, the head doesn't die when you cut it off. It stays alive for a period of time. It depends on the head.
Okay.
And we don't want that. Okay, if I end up in a fight and I cut this guy's head off and then I leave the scene and some surgeon comes walking along, he might be able to reattach the head.
I'm sorry, somewhat? Some Serbian, did you say?
A surgeon.
Oh, a surgeon. Okay, surgeon. I missed that.
What's a Serbian?
I have no idea.
You mean somebody from Serbia?
Yeah, perhaps.
Yeah, no, I don't care where they're from. I'm just talking about their job.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Serbians can be surgeons, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So a Serbian surgeon comes along and sees this head and tries to reattach it. Then the guy who attacked you isn't going to learn anything because he survived the fight, and then he may attack you again. So if you detach somebody's head, take the head, turn it upside down, and then you want to spray the disinfectant inside the neck. You want to try to get it in the brain.
Sure.
There's poison in this.
I got you.
You want to poison the brain.
Poison the brain.
Yeah, that way the head doesn't live.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna take some notes here. So we want to poison the brain.
Yeah, and if you may have to take the sword and kind of work. If you can't see the brain right away, you may have to kind of dig in, sort of scoop it up to the top, and then then just spray on it. The main thing is you don't want them to be able to reattach the head.
Got it. Okay, so hold on. No reattach of the head. Scoop with sword. Scoop. You want to scoop with the sword? Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, if you have a sword, whatever you use to decapitate them, or you can also carry a spoon.
Spoons are good. Spoon.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah. Very, very handy.
Speaking of handy, if you manage to cut the hand off, same type of deal. Okay, you want to infect, because this could be reattached in this situation. You know, as you can see, I just hacked Bob's arm off because he doesn't have any, but there's still time to reattach it. Again, take the meat and the bone and just, spray the disinfectant on there.
Okay.
And you want it to get down into the meat and the bone and everything and poison it. That way they can't reattach it.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I recommend one of two things. Either take it with you, take it home, put it in a trophy case.
Sure.
Air sealed.
That's important.
Don't leave this out in the open air. It'll stink up the whole place.
Okay, good one.
Okay.
Good point.
But if you're worried about, the stench or evidence, leave it at the scene, but try to sort of wring the blood and the tendons and everything out of it so that it's too difficult to reattach. So either take the limb home or destroy it.
Okay, good.
Okay.
These are great points, and I know this is really going to help a lot of people.
Yeah, it's high level stuff.
Yeah.
Another thing you can do is if you do manage to hack the arm off, you can help maintain social distancing that way. And just put the sword in the hand.
Okay, so then you get a little extra reach, right?
Yeah. See how I can now reach? I can reach Bob a little easier. That just gave me an extra 1.5 feet.
Wow. Okay. No, that's important.
Some people's swords are shorter than other people's swords. So if you happen to have a short sword, which is nothing to be ashamed of.
No.
There are swords come in all shapes and sizes.
They do.
But if anyone watching happens to have an undersized sword, this is
I get it.
To help you.
Yeah, and I've heard that it's not necessarily the length of the sword, but more the width that's important, like for cutting.
Well, to a certain point. I mean, you don't want to be walking around with a cleaver.
True.
Because that doesn't help you in social distance. I also think that generally the metal tends to contract when it's cold out.
Yeah, I've heard that about some swords.
So that's important to remember.
Okay. I got it. All right, so these are good notes. Listen, I hope everyone watching, you're taking good notes. Master Ken's knowledge, as you can see, spans all aspects of how we can be safe together in this trying time. It is important. Like, I've got a full sheet of notes just from the few minutes that you've been here already. So, I really, really appreciate that.
Well, you should.
And if you have questions for Master Ken, of course, you can post them up in the comments. We do have a live feed going, and that way you can let us know. We're here to serve. I've got him for a limited time, but he is the master of all things.
Somebody says I have more of a dart than a sword. Yeah, that's another. That's a technique you can use also. Again, regardless of the length of your sword, if you're facing off with an opponent, you want to keep your hands free so you can continue to eye gouge and block punches and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So just take the sword and tuck it between your legs so that as you're fighting, you can be stabbing. So that's a kind of drill that you can just do, just eye gouge, and meanwhile, you're dipping your dart.
Okay. Yeah, the dip dart doc judge. I'm gonna write that down and take some notes here. So it's eye gouge and thrust as a combo.
Well, yeah. Otherwise, they're gonna, just because you're thrusting somebody in the groin doesn't mean they're gonna not attack you back.
Okay. So what if by chance a friend or someone has a heavily misshapen sword due to an unfortunate farm equipment accident?
Well, that's why in many sword fighting arts they teach you also to fight with the nub.
Oh, okay.
Or handle. Some people call it a handle. You can also refer to it as a nub.
Sure, the nub.
Yeah, if you were in that position, that's why you can do the reverse. Like you don't have to have the blade out. You can put, you can have the. I mean, even if you don't have much to work with, that's about proximity. Just
right.
Just popping down. You can also, and you got to also learn how to walk with it. You got to keep your thighs very close together. So you sort of have to get used to walking, kind of like you intend to. You don't want to alert anybody that you are carrying a sword between your legs. So you just kind of have to incorporate it into your walk. Just walk like you're just you've got some you're listening to good music. You're sort of.
Yep.
And then next thing you know, boom. Right.
Right. Well, I like it. And it's important because a lot of people seem to really be having trouble with their nubs. And the fact that you're able to show us this walking style with the shorter nubs is important for a lot of people. And some of them probably are watching right now. And listen, they might, be a little embarrassed about having that nub. It's it happens sometimes, but to know how to walk with it, to know how to be in public with your nub is, I think, critically important in these trying times.
Yeah, don't be ashamed. I mean, I would make fun of you, but I make fun of everybody. So
right.
Don't take that personally.
Well, I don't. I mean, because you're so dangerous and deadly that, it's, and I probably never make fun of you. So here's one's crazy. When are you going to promote Todd?
Yeah, that's a good question. We're having to train separately because of the quarantine.
Okay.
So I've given him a list of things to do. He has to throw himself down the stairs 4 times a day, and he has to attack his own groin. I don't know if he's doing it correctly because I don't always have time to hop on the Zoom to watch him do it. But I don't think he's ready yet, to be honest. He's only been a green belt for, I think, 6 years. So,
yeah, that's, he probably needs a little more time to mature as a green belt, I think.
Yeah, you don't want to rush promotions.
No. Yeah. So that's good to know. And, he might have the groin thing down. I'm not sure. Probably going to need some more work. So another one came in. How can I motivate my students to get back into my studio after we're allowed to go back to business?
Well, there's a variety of ways. I would start off by threatening them.
Hold on. Write that down.
Yeah.
Threaten.
Yeah, and layers of first threaten to just shame them online, and then you can threaten to demote them.
Okay.
They don't come in. You're going to take their belt rank. They just drop a belt rank like every week that they don't come in until they're no rank. Mm-hmm. And then eventually, you have to level physical threats. But I'd start with the, it's an escalating situation. A lot of schools teach de-escalation, but that doesn't make any sense to me. Have you ever been on a de-escalator? I never have. It's like there's an escalator that goes up and an escalator that goes down. They're never like, hey, I'm going to go downstairs. Meet me on the de-escalator.
Truth.
That doesn't exist. So there's only different forms of escalation. There's escalation away from physical conflict and escalation toward physical contact. But they're all the same. So just learn how to escalate a conflict properly.
I got it. So if I understand you correctly, I just want to make sure because I am writing this down.
There's a lot of information.
Yeah, it's incredible. And really, again, thank you. So in order to get your students back into your business, once we start to reopen, step one is everybody to listen. Again, if you didn't write this down, I cannot stress how important this is. Step one, threaten them. Now, and I'm going to guess here, Master Ken, we should probably call them and threaten them, maybe text them, or should we just go to their house on that first step?
First step, I would say publicly threaten them so that everyone else can see that they're being lazy and they're not showing up at the dojo. Right. Shame them.
Oh,
You know,
they're beautiful. That is brilliant.
Yeah. It's remember in if anyone saw Game of Thrones, where they made the princess walk through the town and they just yelled, "Shame, shame." I've been doing that for years.
I think they may have actually gotten that from you.
Yeah, I think that some of that training leaked out of my dojo because whenever a student doesn't do what I want them to do, I would have the other students line up, and we would have mud or soup that's gone bad or what have you, rotten vegetables, and just throw them and say shame, shame, and they usually only go through that once.
Wow. Okay. So that's powerful. And again, I know we've got so many people watching right now. This is critical. These are critical times. Different states around the country are getting ready to reopen. Step one, Master Ken is a genius at this. Threaten and then shame, right? Yep. So it's almost an A-B, like threaten them and then shame them right on top of it. That's step one. And listen, that should be like your phase one plan. Now the government put out their 3-phase plan. We're kind of building and creating on the fly here. And these are genius tips about how you, as a martial arts school owner, should be planning to reopen your school. Now, this goes back to the days of strong traditional martial arts that you just got to do this so that you can be ready to just crush your goals and succeed in business. That's great. So we're gonna threaten and publicly shame. Now,
I am trying to get back to the old traditional ways.
Right.
I remember years ago when I was just starting a school, I looked at students from other countries and thought, wow, some of them in other countries seem to be a bit more attentive, a bit more disciplined. How can I learn from that? So I went over to places like Japan, and just to see, especially the younger students, to see how they make them so disciplined.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out they beat them.
Wow. Huh.
I didn't expect that, but it turns out in a lot of countries they just beat them. So I just learned from that. I thought, okay, well that's part of the secret is that if students are getting out of line, you either need you have to make them feel threatened and feel unsafe, and then they tend to behave. Okay.
Again, Gene, did you write that down? I'm hopeful that you did. Here's the other thing too. I just want to kind of remind everybody, and you might agree with me, Mr. Ken, on the public shaming, because we are talking about, maybe getting rotten fruits and vegetables. There was a whole run on toilet paper and cleaning products in the beginning of this. I think people watching this, especially now, if you're live, like I probably would go to the store as soon as this is done and start stocking up on vegetables and fruit so that it can rot in advance before there's a run on the fruits and vegetables. And, then they're going to be out and it's going to be a whole thing. But that way you have it now so that you can start to throw that at your students when they don't come back to your school. And that is really powerful and engagement. And then the demotion part, which is phase 2, like, whatever belt they are, make them go backwards. Like you said, Todd hasn't been practicing. Maybe it's time to demote him, just start to move those people down.
Yeah. If anything, that's in fact, the more people who demand that Todd be promoted, you're honestly hurting his chances. I just want to let you know. The more you demand that he gets a bump up, you might suddenly see him as an orange belt if you keep mouthing off.
Okay, duly noted, sir, and I do appreciate that. And then finally, phase 3 is the escalation phase, and that is probably where we should, I don't know, maybe just get in their face, maybe grab them, maybe take them down, choke them out. Probably for sure. I mean, I think using your skill set, there's the restomping of the groin on phase 3.
Yeah, you can. You always finish with a groin stomp, but you ever heard the term "shake some sense into them"?
Yes, yeah, I have.
Yeah, that's something. That's a technique that I've used before. That if a student just isn't getting the instruction, they're just not understanding. I come up to them and I say, "It's okay. I'm going to teach you how to increase your blood flow to the brain so that you can understand better." And I reach underneath the collar here.
Okay.
Reach underneath the other collar. Okay?
Got it. Yeah.
Just do that for 4 or 5 minutes.
Okay, 4 or 5. Got it.
And what that does is it causes the brain to bounce around inside of the skull, which causes more blood flow up to the brain. So it's going to make them think clearer when they wake up. Usually they're thinking really clear.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I heard Dr. Fauci say something about that and how important that was. Okay, good. I love it. So hopefully you've now, listen, martial arts school owners, you've got your plan on the Master Ken 3 phases of opening, which beats anything that our government is going to put out there, especially for the martial arts world, because as you know, martial artists are different. We're completely different, and most things don't apply to us.
That's one word for it, different. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, it says, Master Ken, we have different laws in Canada. How would you recommend to threaten Canadians to come back to the dojo?
Oh, well, yeah, that is a dilemma because Canadians are so polite. I mean, you could learn something from America in that case. We're not very polite. But it's effective, you know?
Yeah.
But it's really just about language. You know, it's just, just try to think about how Americans talk versus Canadians talk. I might say, for instance, hey, Todd, get your lazy butt back in the school before I take your belt away. Whereas a Canadian might say, hey, would you like some maple syrup, eh? It's a different way of expressing yourself, but not as effective.
Sure.
So
Sure.
that's, that mainly it's a language barrier. If Canadians could learn long enough to get rid of the maple syrup and the Tim Hortons coffee long enough to be rude, you probably could keep your schools open longer.
There you go. So listen, Canadians, and we've got a few on today. It's important. Heed the words of Master Ken and if you don't, it's gonna be at your own peril. Speaking of old ways, so another person asked, if I see a child start to surpass my own skills, should I punch him or her in the head?
Well, there you're running into a liability issue.
Mm-hmm.
As far as children being more advanced than you, I think that means you got to get your act together as far as your own training. I purposely teach my students when I teach kids. That's why I teach them incorrectly.
Okay, so incorrectly then for the kids?
Yeah, teach them, because that way they can't become advanced if they learn it wrong. So you can correct them later on when they are of adult age and you're allowed to hit them. But as long as they're kids, just teach them wrong.
Oh, okay.
I'll teach a kid. Oh yeah, when you punch, always put your thumb on your first finger, and you only want to hit with these 2 knuckles right here. Only hit with the tiny knuckles. And so you have some kid going out, punching people incorrectly, breaking their pinkies all day, and you just say, "Oh, keep going, Timmy. You're doing a good job." And he spends a lot of time frustrated, but he definitely can't beat me in a fight because he doesn't know what he's doing.
Wow. Listen, I have spent a lifetime in the martial arts, and I have never figured out that secret. I think you really have unlocked some knowledge, powerful knowledge for all martial arts school owners, because I mean, and the great part of teaching them wrong on purpose is now as they grow up, they've got to come back to you to get fixed and be right. So you're literally now creating lifetime memberships.
Exactly. That's it's really, it's important to do a lot of damage in the beginning of the relationship so they can pay you to fix it.
100%. 100%. I don't mean to laugh at you, Master Ken, but I almost want to cry because it's like a light bulb has gone off over my head for just wow. I know my business.
I'm used to that reaction. Sometimes my information is my teachings are so wise. the brain doesn't know how to process it except in laughter.
Yeah, I got a
It's
tear.
that it's a form of mania. It's like such incredible knowledge is being deposited in the brain. It almost drives people crazy.
Yeah.
So sometimes all they can do is laugh because they just think, "My God, I've never heard something so intelligent."
I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that now. Just the fact that do the damage in the beginning. Again, I've got like 7 steps now and I know my business and our studios here in California are just going to be going gangbusters.
Oh yeah, they're going to eat it up.
Oh, that's it. That's it. Okay. So listen, I think we've covered it. You, once again, genius, just incredible knowledge and your skill, of course, goes without saying, the things there. If anybody has questions for the world famous Master Ken, now would be the time. Just put them up in the comments and we'll try and get them there. I mean, literally, I have a tear coming down. I can't wait to reopen now because I've got the plan. I've got.
Yeah, I assume that whenever I make somebody cry, it's tears of excitement. So you're welcome for that.
Well, thank you so much. I do appreciate it.
Okay, I think I've blown everybody's mind.
You might have. Should we require students to wear face masks or some other method of keeping sanitary?
Yeah, there's a few different ways you can do that.
Okay.
Face masks, definitely. You've got one of those, don't you?
No.
Oh, I thought. They don't let you keep those from the movie, do they?
Well, I actually have them. I just don't have them here with me.
Oh, okay.
But I do have an action figure.
There you go. So I don't know if putting an action figure on your mouth will help.
No.
But let's say, I'll give you a quick lesson on improvising the different face masks that you can use in that situation. So if you want to go heavy duty, you can go full on gas mask.
Gotcha.
Problem with this is, what I find is that if you happen to be allergic to latex or rubber, I have a slight allergy to it, so I keep sneezing inside the mask, which is just a mess.
Sure.
So if you have that problem, or also you may not want to wear something this intense if you're going to eat. It's harder to eat with this on because you have to put the food in early, because you can't take the mask off once you're out in the world. So you just sort of put snacks at the bottom here and then sort of lick on them throughout the day. It's very messy. What you can do instead is just have a rag.
Okay.
Just cover your mouth. And let's say, if you have to defend yourself in that situation, let's say you're being a good citizen, you're covering up your mouth.
Yep.
Someone comes up to you in a threatening manner and they're violating social distancing.
Mm-hmm.
What you want to do is take your mask, your little rag off, and cover their eyes.
Ah, got it. Got it. Yep, makes sense.
Yeah, cover their eyes. Then you take your knife and you insert it right below the Adam's apple here.
Okay.
Okay. Now, when you do that, when you take the knife out, blood's going to spray out everywhere. Okay, so take your rag and cover that.
Got it.
So that it doesn't hit you in the face.
Sure.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then you can insert the knife into the eyes to keep them from being able to see you. Slit the throat, what have you, whatever you need to do to incapacitate them.
Okay.
And then when you're done, you've still got your rag just to put over your mouth.
Right. And red would be important, right? Because it kind of hides all the
The blood.
Yeah, the blood.
Yeah, exactly. You're not gonna. You try staining a red rag with blood. I've tried. I can't do it. So when they're bleeding out, it's important to be able to cover them with a similar color,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can just go right back to protecting yourself.
Perfect. Again, genius. Just absolute genius.
It's high level stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you're really blowing my mind. Mustache or mask, which is better for public spaces?
It just depends on the size of the stash. Mine is pretty full, so I can kind of breathe through it. Actually, kind of like I'm pulling most of it. You notice if I put it close to my nose and my mouth, it's actually filtering. So if you've got a mustache, or you sort of
Just up, like
really
that?
close, and that way you're pulling all the air through the fibers, through the hairs here.
Yeah, I noticed that when I did that, it's like a HEPA filter there.
Yeah, if you've got hepatitis, it's a HEPA filter.
Sure. Grocery stores are like war zones for women. Any suggestions of how a woman could protect herself from the crazies?
Oh, sure. Yeah, there's a bunch of ways you can do that. Yeah, I would. If you're in a grocery store, let's see. You can have a spatula. Keep a spatula with you.
Spatula.
Okay. Preferably
Now, that one seems to have I don't know, maybe a little dust on it, or
I just made an omelet.
okay.
So keeping a spatula with you. That's a good way.
This is for women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just hang out in the cookware section, and if they get too close to you, just wrap them with the spatula. You can chop them in the neck with it, and hit them in the eye.
Right.
You can have, if you feel like frying food, you can keep a pan close by, and someone comes up to you and says, "Excuse me, where's the frozen food?" And you can say, "Oh, it's right over there."
Okay. Listen, ladies, please tell me you took notes and you wrote those things down. This is critically important. There are a lot of crazies in the store. I mean, the spatula and the frying pan, I guess, according to Master Ken, should be your best friend.
I mean, I'm just going with what's available right in front of me.
Sure. I got it. All right. Listen, that's great. I saw another one here. Okay. I think no one's going to see that.
Sometimes I hit people so hard they fall twice.
Yeah. All right, here's another one. Can you cover the no-touch groin stomp knockouts so we can keep our social distance while restomping the groin?
Yeah, I mean, the no-touch is a little difficult because you need a voodoo doll. Say you've got if you have time to do that, say there's somebody who's being threatening to you. And you have enough time to get a good look at them, and you just make a little doll out of clay.
Gotcha.
Right? Then you can just attack that. You can just attack the groin.
On the doll.
Yeah, just take your foot and he should feel that.
Yep, I got
Otherwise, you didn't make the voodoo doll correctly.
Okay.
Another way is just, again, if you happen to have an extra limb, this is why it's important to keep trophies from other fights. I used to be able to have these on standby, But now try getting a cadaver nowadays. It's ridiculous. You know, it used to be you show up to the morgue and you say, you have a big night tonight? And they'd say, yeah, take what you want. Now you got to know somebody and there's paperwork and it's a pain. It's a total pain.
This country is going right downhill.
Yeah. It's all that regulation. So you notice right now I can't reach them. Okay. But I take somebody else's foot and swing here, okay? Yeah. I'm making groin contact, but not with my foot, with somebody else's foot. So technically that is a no-touch groin stomp.
Okay. Got it. Now, again, please, everyone watching, tell me you're taking notes. The hits keep coming here with Master Ken. His genius is without compare. All right, listen, I don't want you to get offended at this question. And I don't know who did it. Of course, they're anonymous figures. Master Ken, who would win in a fight? You, Scorpion, or the Green Ranger? I think we all know the answer to that question already, but
I don't know who the Green Ranger. The green, what do you mean green? Like a Army Ranger?
I don't know. Maybe they're talking about Power Rangers, Jolly Ranchers. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, okay, that's cute. Yeah, I mean, I think they're just trying to cause a hubbub. I mean, they know the answer. They saw. I'm not trying to bring up, put salt in old wounds, but you and I did face off in our previous video.
I think it looked something like that, maybe.
Yeah, and we there's video evidence of how that worked out. So
yeah, I think it was the sneak attack probably that did me in on that one there.
Yeah, nobody has ever been able to overcome my crouching tiger.
Actually, it was really good. That was really good. All right, listen, I know you're busy. I think we have covered pretty much everything. We've got how women can defend themselves. We've got the actual steps that martial artists should be taking to reopen. Like, forget that government stuff and their steps. Because, I mean, in your words, that would be bullshit. Yeah.
Total bullshit. Yeah, it would be. It's too soft. It's too easy. It's too friendly. Again, being rude, threatening people, publicly shaming them. All of these things are the things you should be thinking about. Right.
And if you ever are in need of cutting off someone's head, I mean, the notes here you've got to disinfect the inside of it with Lysol. If you don't have a sword, use a spoon to scoop out some of the insides, because you don't want the head to live once it leaves the body.
Right.
And listen, I'm telling you, I've got 3 pages of notes that I've been taking, and man, listen, as a coach and consultant myself, I thought I had the answers. Clearly, I found out today I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. You've got all the answers, and that's why I appreciate you doing what you're doing and being here and being on with us to really just help and educate martial arts school owners around the world. It's an amazing thing.
Yeah, well, I'll send you an invoice.
I appreciate that. Hey, by the way, and since like a lot of martial arts schools have pivoted to the virtual online world, I can't believe this question came in so late. Should have been the first one. Is there an Emeridote manual or online training program for those that are interested in learning the world's greatest martial arts?
Yeah, there's two answers to that. So first of all, you've got the Tao of Master Ken. My book, you can get an autographed copy on my website, enterthedojoshow.com, or you can just order on Amazon. And so this is the training manual with lots of, very advanced techniques like the thrust of freedom.
One of my favorites, by the way, the thrust of freedom.
Very popular technique. Very popular technique. You caught onto that one quickly.
I did.
And as far as online training, one of the things I'm doing is I'm doing a lot of private lessons on Cameo. The Cameo app allows people to order specific private lessons. They can, whether it's a birthday lesson for somebody that they know, or they want to know why their particular martial art is bullshit and how to fix it. So I'm doing that on Cameo, and that's working out really well. A lot of new students through there.
Okay, so online training is available through Cameo, everybody. Cameo, Cameo. You can just type that into any browser. It'll come up. Search Master Ken.
Yep, Cameo Master Ken will bring you there.
Cameo Master Ken. That is brilliant. See, again, I thought I was ahead of the curve, but clearly you are ahead of the curve. You are the curve.
Right. Well, that's what comes from being very famous.
Someday I hope to find out what that feeling is like.
You'll get there. You've been paying your dues.
All right, Master Ken, we are going to wrap it up. Again, thank you. Cheers to you. Everybody say cheers to Master Ken. Hopefully you've got your coffee. We're powered up. That is it for this episode of the Dojo Doctor Show. I appreciate all of you being here today. We're gonna pop over to Zoom, and I was gonna do some business stuff. I don't even know that I'll need to do it now. Master Ken, you've covered all the bases, so I'll get everybody, all my Red Dragon people and Dojo Doctor people, we'll get them onto Zoom, and I'm just gonna apologize to all of them for not having these answers sooner. But again, I do thank you for being here. I understand that you're busy. You've probably got over 100 interviews set up for today. So I appreciate you taking the time out of your super busy schedule as we enter day 43 of quarantine to join us and provide some insight into the world of martial arts.
Well, it's your pleasure.
Absolutely. Okay. Have an awesome day. Thank you very much. And I will talk to you very soon.